Hey, everybody, it's Jeremy Rosenthal, your briefing attorney. I want to share with you a story which originally aired back in July. I did an interview on WHO radio in Des Moines, and the topic was that federal district judge for the Southern District of Florida, Aileen Cannon, dismissed Donald Trump's documents case from the Mar-a-Lago prosecution. She found that Jack Smith didn't have Senate approval, and he needed Senate approval to be a special counsel. She went out on a super limb. Every other federal court that's ever ruled on the same topic, including courts of appeal and higher courts, have all held that that a special prosecutor does not need Senate confirmation. She threw the case out, and at the time, it looked like she would almost certainly get reversed. As it turns out, and that never happened. That never happened because Donald Trump was elected in November as president of the United States, and then Jack Smith shortly thereafter dismissed all the prosecutions. So we're never going to get our answer whether or not Judge Cannon was in fact wrong, or confirmation, if you will, that she was wrong. But here's the interview as it aired, and I hope you enjoy it.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Covering both sides of the big issues with the analysis you trust on News Radio 1040 WHO.
A judge has dismissed Donald Trump's Florida classified documents case, the charges alleging that the former president mishandled classified documents. On the line to talk it over with me is a prosecutor who has since become a defense attorney, so he can put cases together and he can tear them apart. That is Jeremy Rosenthal, back on my Davison Family Dentistry Newsmaker line. Jeremy, welcome to WHO Radio. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. What are your takeaways from this judge's ruling on the classified documents case?
Pretty aggressive. Not gonna lie. She may be. She is following the train of thought of Justice Clarence Thomas, but she basically told the Supreme. She basically kind of overruled the Supreme Court in 1973 on her own, which is when you're kind of a lower judge, you don't necessarily step out on that limb. This is probably the beginning of this fight, not the end of it. But a good day for Donald Trump.
Well, and that seems to be the key of it, isn't it, Jeremy, that she's basically saying the appointment of the special counsel is unconstitutional. That's a big old ruling for a judge at her level.
Yeah. So to take everybody through it, okay, everybody knows that so you've got the executive branch, and the executive branch is not just the president. It includes the Secretary of Labor, the Secretary of Commerce, the Attorney General, the Secretary of Defense. These things are all the executive branch, and the Constitution requires that the Senate confirm those people. The differentiating line, if you think about it, is what they call, and there's an act in place, a congressional act, that says a principal needs to be appointed or needs to be approved by Congress, and an inferior employee, which that is a real mean term. I'm not mine, but an inferior person doesn't need that approval. There are, this is a guess, it's just a guess, there's probably 10,000 people that work for the Justice Department nationwide. They have 94 district offices. They have a field office in courts in Los Angeles, in New York, and everywhere in between. Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, does not have to get the janitor approved or the security guards approved, or for that matter, just your rank and file prosecutors approved by Congress. That would be, I think we all agree, ridiculous. The question is, and what Judge Cannon said is, no, Jack Smith is a principal here. Problem with Judge Cannon's opinion is that nobody has ever said that before. And like I was saying earlier, in 1973, in the Richard Nixon prosecution, where they were subpoenaing his tapes, the U.S. Supreme Court 8-0 opinion said this is fine. This passes constitutional muster perfectly. Judge Cannon spent about 20 pages kind of trying to say how that really wasn't law. The word of the day is called dicta, which is what she characterized that opinion as, meaning that, or that part of the opinion as, meaning that it's superfluous, right? And not to get too far off in the weeds, dicta is It basically is like when a judge writes an opinion and the judge says murder is wrong, murder is terrible, here's all the bad murders that have taken place, but we're going to let this murderer off the hook because the law doesn't allow it. The first part of that is all dicta. It's not binding. It's just sort of language. And so that's what she's kind of saying here, but I don't know that she gets a whole lot of traction with that. We'll see where this goes.
Jeremy Rosenthal, he has been both a prosecutor and a defense attorney. Jeremy, thanks for your analysis of the ruling.